Golden State Warriors are currently facing a critical challenge that could affect their playoff run. One of their key players is dealing with a thigh injury, which could keep him sidelined for as many as 2 weeks. To make matters worse, another player is dangerously close to being suspended due to his technical foul count. He's just 2 technical fouls away from a potential suspension, a situation that raises concerns within a team and among fans alike. This scenario brings back painful memories of a previous series when the Warriors had a 3-1 lead and ultimately lost the finals. That collapse was partly attributed to the absence of key players, and now the Warriors find themselves in a similar predicament with the stakes even higher. The player in question, who has been a crucial part of the team's success, is not only facing injury issues but also accumulating technical fouls at an alarming rate. During the current playoff series, he has averaged 1 technical foul every 2 games, and his frustration has boiled over in recent comments. He's even gone so far as to claim that he feels targeted by the league and its referees, suggesting that there is a larger agenda at play. This has sparked a considerable amount of discussion in the media, with a notable commentator coming out in support of the player. While this support is important, it's equally crucial to look at the situation from all angles, particularly when it comes to the player's behavior on the court. His technical fouls have not been without cause. The league has specific rules about physical contact, particularly when it comes to hitting an opponent in the head or neck area. And in recent games, this player has made a number of questionable moves that have resulted in technical fouls. For example, in one play, he attempted to steal the ball by swinging his elbow upward, striking the opponent's head. This is a clear violation of league rules, as any intentional contact to the head or neck is considered a technical foul, regardless of the intent behind it. The rules are black and white. If you make contact with the head or neck, it's a foul, and in most cases, it's a technical foul. The player has been known for his aggressive style, but this has crossed the line into actions that cannot be overlooked by the referees. There are some who argue that the league has become too lenient in recent years, but the fact remains that these rules are in place for a reason and players must abide by them. The league has worked hard to ensure player safety, and any action that could potentially cause injury, especially to the head or neck, is treated with utmost seriousness. This player's actions are a clear violation of these safety rules, and while some may argue that his aggressive style is just part of who he is, it is also clear that the referees are not going to let these infractions slide without consequence. One of the most recent incidents involved him swinging his arms in an exaggerated motion during a steal attempt, which not only made contact with the opponent's head, but was also followed by a forceful gesture with the arm. It's hard to argue that this wasn't intentional, and this type of behavior has become a hallmark of his on-court persona. While some may defend his actions as part of the game's physicality, the truth is that the referees are tasked with ensuring the game remains safe and fair, and when players violate these safety protocols, they are subject to penalties. The problem here is not necessarily his style of play, but rather the fact that these actions have now led to multiple technical fouls, putting him and his team at risk. After the game, the player made headlines once again, this time not just for his on-court behavior, but for his comments to the media. He opened up about the way he has been perceived by both the league and the public, particularly the way he has been stereotyped as an angry black man. He expressed his frustration with this narrative, insisting that he doesn't see himself that way. Instead, he described himself as a successful and educated black man with a beautiful family who happens to play basketball. His words were powerful as they touched on the broader issue of racial stereotyping in sports. This kind of stereotype has been a long-standing issue, particularly for black athletes who are often unfairly labeled as aggressive or hostile based on their demeanor or playing style. These statements have sparked intense debate, and while the topic of racial stereotyping is complex, it is undeniable that this player's experience reflects a larger issue within sports culture. The stereotype of the angry black man has been perpetuated for decades, and this player's comments bring that issue to the forefront in a very public way. However, it's also important to note that while his statements are valid, they do not absolve him from the actions that have led to his technical fouls. The player himself has acknowledged that he can sometimes be too emotional on the court. But he also claims that his actions are often driven by a desire to motivate his teammates and energize the crowd. There's no doubt that the player's emotions often run high, and his fiery spirit has certainly contributed to some of his most memorable moments on the court. However, this same intensity has also led to several incidents where he has crossed the line, resulting in technical fouls and questionable behavior. This is not the first time that he has been involved in a situation where his on-court conduct has been scrutinized. He has a history of interactions with referees that have raised eyebrows, as well as incidents involving other players. For instance, there was an altercation with an opponent during the last playoffs, where the player made unnecessary physical contact, something that was not a major issue at the time, but added to the growing list of questionable moments in his career. He is also known for engaging with the crowd, sometimes in ways that seem to escalate tensions. These actions, while often emotional, have contributed to his reputation as a volatile player. Despite his contributions to the team, it's becoming increasingly clear that he needs to find a way to control his emotions on the court. There's a fine line between playing with passion and letting your emotions dictate your actions. At this point in his career, he's established himself as a player who wears his heart on his sleeve. But the problem is that this emotional intensity is often misinterpreted as aggression. It's not just about how he plays, but how he behaves when things don't go his way. The technical fouls, the altercations with referees, and his tendency to escalate situations all point to a player who is struggling to maintain composure under pressure. This is a crucial moment for the player, as his team faces a tough road ahead. His absence could potentially be disastrous for the Warriors, who are already missing another key player due to injury. As the playoffs continue, the team needs him to perform at his best, but that can only happen if he learns to control his temper and avoid accumulating more technical fouls. His skills, particularly his defense and three-point shooting, are vital to the team's success, especially in the face of an opponent with a strong presence in the paint. However, the Warriors need him on the court, not sitting in the locker room after being ejected for another technical foul. There's no question that this player's ability to stay composed will have a significant impact on his team's chances of success. His physicality and defensive abilities make him one of the most valuable players on the roster. But if he continues to let his emotions dictate his play, he may find himself on the sidelines more often than not. As much as he may argue that his actions are for the benefit of the team, it's clear that his behavior is having the opposite effect. If the Warriors are to advance further in the playoffs, they need him to step up. Not just in terms of his play, but in how he handles the pressure that comes with it. As the Warriors move forward in the playoffs, the importance of this player's role cannot be overstated. His presence on the court is invaluable, and the team needs him to maintain his focus, especially with key players sidelined. His ability to lock down on defense, hit crucial three-pointers, and bring energy to the team is vital for their success. However, with every technical foul, the pressure continues to mount, and it becomes increasingly difficult for the Warriors to rely on him in critical moments. The team is already shorthanded, and with the player being on the verge of a suspension, the stakes are higher than ever. The question that looms over the Warriors' playoff hopes is simple. Can they still perform at a championship level without this player on the court? It's a question that requires careful consideration, as the team is built on a delicate balance of offensive firepower and defensive tenacity. Without this player, the Warriors lose one of their most versatile defenders, a guy who can guard multiple positions and disrupt opposing offenses with his intensity and athleticism. His absence would also have a significant impact on the team's overall defensive scheme, as his versatility allows the Warriors to adjust to different matchups. The team has relied on him to step up in big moments, and while other players have filled in admirably during his absences, there's no denying that his presence is irreplaceable. The Warriors' success in this playoff series is also dependent on how they adjust to these challenges. They are facing a formidable opponent, one with size, skill, and depth. Every possession matters, and the Warriors cannot afford to give up easy points or make mistakes that could cost them the game. While the team has shown resilience throughout the season, the loss of key players due to injury and suspension could derail their chances of winning another championship. The organization and coaching staff must find a way to adjust without compromising the team's identity. However, it's clear that much of the burden falls on the player in question to stay on the court and avoid costly penalties. His emotional reactions on the court have been both a blessing and a curse for the team. On one hand, his fiery intensity fuels his performance, pushing him to make critical plays when the game is on the line. His passion and drive are contagious, and his teammates often feed off his energy. On the other hand, this same emotional intensity sometimes leads to reckless decisions that put the team at risk. Technical fouls, confrontations with referees, and unnecessary altercations with opponents have all become part of his narrative. In some ways, this behavior is what makes him such an impactful player, but it also threatens to undermine the Warriors' playoff aspirations. Every time he gets whistled for a technical foul, he puts his team in a precarious position, especially in a series as competitive as this one. While his actions on the court are often impulsive, there's a growing sense of frustration from both fans and analysts who question whether he can control his emotions in such high-stakes situations. The player himself has acknowledged that he needs to do a better job of managing his temper, but the question remains whether he will be able to make that adjustment in time. The playoffs are a pressure cooker, and emotions often run high. However, the best players know how to channel that intensity in a way that doesn't harm their team. It's unclear whether this player has the ability to make that transition, or if his emotional style of play will continue to create distractions that take away from the Warriors' collective focus. The broader narrative surrounding this player has also become more complicated due to his comments about the way he's perceived by the public. His statements about being stereotyped as an angry black man struck a chord with many, particularly those who have followed his career closely. While his comments highlight an important issue in sports culture, they also add another layer of complexity to his already tumultuous situation. Is it possible that his actions on the court are being unfairly magnified because of racial biases? This is a question that many are asking, especially in light of the ongoing conversations about race and representation in professional sports. The intersection of race and sports has been a topic of debate for years, and this player's experience adds another dimension to that conversation. However, the issue at hand is not just about how he's perceived, but also about the consequences of his actions. It's undeniable that his technical fouls and emotional outbursts are a result of his own decisions, regardless of how the public views him. The reality is that he is responsible for controlling his behavior, and the Warriors' success hinges on his ability to do so. While it's important to acknowledge the challenges he faces, the team cannot afford to let his emotional outbursts continue unchecked. The Warriors need him to be a leader on the floor, and that means playing within the rules and staying composed in the heat of the moment. Despite the challenges he's facing, the Warriors are not without options. Other players have stepped up in his absence, and the coaching staff has shown a remarkable ability to adapt to changing circumstances. The team's depth has been a strength all season long, and if this player is suspended or sidelined, the Warriors will need to lean on their other stars to pick up the slack. However, there's no question that his presence would be a game changer. His ability to disrupt opposing offenses, guard multiple positions, and contribute offensively is a rare combination that the Warriors can't easily replace. Looking ahead, the key question for the Warriors is whether they can continue to perform at a high level without their key player. The playoffs are a grueling test of endurance, skill, and mental toughness, and the Warriors will need all of their pieces functioning at their best if they are to advance. It's clear that this player has the potential to be a difference maker, but his ability to stay on the court and avoid further disciplinary issues will determine how far the Warriors can go. The stakes are higher than ever, and with the series tied at 1-1, every game becomes more critical. In the end, the fate of the Warriors' playoff run may depend on whether this player can channel his passion and aggression in a way that benefits the team rather than undermining their efforts. The time for emotional outbursts and reckless behavior has passed. If the Warriors are going to make another championship run, they need this player to step up. Not just in terms of his skills, but in his ability to manage his emotions and avoid the costly mistakes that have marred his career. This is a pivotal moment for both the player and the team, and how they respond to this challenge will shape the rest of their season. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Golden State Warriors fans were dealt a devastating blow today as star point guard Stephen Curry has officially been ruled out for the remainder of the NBA playoffs. The team confirmed that Curry sustained a grade 3 injury, the most severe classification, which will require extensive recovery time and prevent him from returning to action this postseason. The injury, reportedly suffered during a routine play in last week's game, quickly raised concerns when Curry was seen limping off the court in visible discomfort. Initial evaluations hinted at something serious, but hopes lingered that the damage might be minimal. However, after a thorough medical assessment, the Warriors medical team diagnosed a grade 3 sprain, confirming the worst-case scenario for the franchise and its fans. Curry's absence is a massive blow to Golden State's championship aspirations. Widely regarded as one of the greatest shooters in NBA history, his leadership and on-court brilliance have been the cornerstone of the Warriors' recent successes. The timing could not be worse, as the team was beginning to build momentum heading into a critical stretch of the playoffs. Without Curry, head coach Steve Kerr will have to rework his game plan significantly, leaning more heavily on players like Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and younger talents to fill the void. The news has sent shockwaves through the league, as Curry's presence in the playoffs is not only crucial for Golden State, but also for basketball fans around the world who relish his electric performances. Known for his clutch shooting and unmatched ability to shift the tide of a game, Curry has long been a postseason icon. This injury marks yet another chapter in a season filled with ups and downs for the Warriors. While the team has faced adversity before, replacing a player of Curry's caliber is a challenge few teams can overcome. For now, fans and analysts alike will be left to wonder what might have been as the playoffs move forward without one of the game's most captivating stars. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.